lights are off and away they go.
Extremely loose. He's managed to hold on and they get
He missed the complete that. He's crazy
As I said, Freitas is on the grass on the infield before. He slides through, he tags Richard Neagle.
From the dirigible wafting in a Belgium sky, we look down at Circuit of Spa-Francorchamps, which today plays host to the Formula Neagle Season 9 finale. Sanctioned by the Absolute Beginner League, with all the Skip Barber open wheel excitement from green flag to championship victory donuts, seen live as it happens here on the Global Sim Racing Channel. Yes, the driver championship has been clinched by Errol Num, and only a total collapse will keep Bushfink Pink away from the team crown. Nevertheless, all the drivers will be looking to close out Season 9 on a high note, giving them momentum into 2017 and the upcoming Season 10. This quarter-hour streaming award-worthy pre-race show will count us down to when the lights go off and the field of open-wheelers smoke off the grid, beginning the timer ticking on this 70-minute contest. So bring cyberspace into your place, fry up a bowl of Brussels chips, crack open a bottle of Lusa peach nectar, put your feet up in the recliner, and enjoy the simulated road course excitement that will be streaming your way. Bonjour, everyone, and welcome to another GSRC broadcast. I'm your host, Bill Soupson. Helping me call the action is Adam Forever Young. Turning the knobs and pushing the sliders is our director, Amjad Yaman. And at his disposal will be the camera locations provided by, well, he's the Ansel Adams of iRacing. We like to call him our own Dougie Whiskers Beard. GSRC's coverage of Formula Neagle is made possible thanks to the good folks at ilovesimracing.co.uk, the home of your personal created button boxes. The Season 9 champion will be awarded a custom-made button box from I Love Sim Racing, Sim Racing Norway. Adam, the main offices of the Absolute Beginners League, is in the Netherlands. And from the rolling hills of Ohio, Formula Neagle wraps up the season close to home in nearby Belgium. What does this big track have in store for these little cars?
Well, of course, Spa has some of the most recognizable names of corners in all of auto racing, from La Source to Radion to the Kemmel Straight, all the way down to Campus and Stavelot. And of course, this 20-turn layout here is going to give these Skip Barber cars a little bit of a workout, quite a bit of drafting as usual on this 4.35-mile circuit, or 7 kilometers. Of course, that's way down from the original 15-kilometer circuit they used to have before World War II. And this track will give everybody a little bit of a headache today as far as that draft. You're going to have to try to keep up. But hey, let's go ahead and take a lap around this place with Joe Peak.
Alright, we've got Amjad Yaman and the GSRC Skippy, so let's do a lap around Spa. Heading down to La Source, this is a possible overtaking spot, but it's a bit pointless in these cars because of the drafting section that follows. What's more important here is keeping out of trouble on lap 1. Give each other space and don't be stupid. It's also critical to get your exit right because you won't be lifting all the way until you reach Lacombe. Hesitate on the power and you'll be losing time for a significant chunk of the course. Now, as we hit the bottom of the hill, the car will compress in Eau Rouge and then get light across Rodillion. Straighten them out as much as you can, but be very careful not to cut the course at the top. You'll be losing position after position as you try to give the time back down Kemmel Straight. At this point, you'll want to tuck into the draft of the car ahead. Even if they're a second and a half away, you'll be getting help, so it's worth following their slipstream. If you got everything right, you can be fully passed by the braking for Lacombe. If you're not, it'll be a battle of positioning your car and outbraking your opponent. Both sides can defend, but it takes respect from both drivers to give room. Hold left just a bit on the exit to give a better run through Malmedy, which should only require a little lift on entry. By now, we're at the highest point on the track. If you're sneaky, Rivage is another corner that can offer passing opportunities. But it's a 180-degree right-hander, so learning to balance your car is going to really help you feel confident through here. You'll need that if you find yourself going toe-to-toe with another car. Now we switch right and give the lightest of brushes on the brakes for this left-hander. If you get it wrong, you're going to put you and your opponent in a very awkward position because Puan isn't really a passing zone. Going too wide through there isn't the best of ideas. This is another long downhill turn that really requires a good balance and an excellent sense of timing for when to apply the gas. Thankfully, by now we've hit the bottom of the hill and we'll switch left for Fagnes. This is a medium speed chicane, so it can be possible to get passes done into here. It just isn't always the easiest of propositions. Like most chicanes, it's more important to set up for the second half. But in this case, it's only a short stretch afterwards, so if you botch it, you're not in too much trouble. As soon as you're done with that, we hit Curva Paul Frere. The first half is much slower, but it's the second apex that requires perfection. Only a tiny lift will get you through correctly, and you don't want to give away any more than you have to. Once again, Spa provides a winding stretch of road where drafting will wind up making it something of a strategic game. Then, you come upon Blanchiment. Once again, it's up to the more daring drivers to see how little they can let off the power on their way in. But there's no time to relax because you've got to line the car up left and put the binders on for the bus stop chicane. Whether you still consider it the bus stop chicane is neither here nor there because it's both a technical and gutsy corner. Pass attempts happen often, but outthinking your opponent can allow you to outdrag them out of the second apex with a good over-under. But the giant curves, the huge deceleration, and the change of direction means many drivers get tangled up with each other. But if you got through clean, you've now finished a lap around Spa.
Joe Peak talks us through a lap at Spa. Right now, let's take a lap around the point standings. With a 37-point lead, the Bushfink Racing Pinks Roland Estonian, that's Aeronum, took home the Season 9 hardware after round 6, which balanced out his trophy case nicely when displayed next to his Season 7 championship award. David Third Degree Burns of DBR Rust is only 5 points up on privateer Pierce Cockey. You know, Cockey is finally having the success that better reflects his talent this season. Mama Jean Racing holds down the final pair of spots. Tuan Tran, who is the only driver to best Gnome this season, sits ahead of his teammate Bastian Hausmann in 5th. To the team standings, 23 points separate Bushfink Racing Pink from Mama Jean Racing. Now, if Tran and Hausmann both podium and Scott Brazier fails to help out Num, MJR could, in theory, steal the team crown. Stay tuned for those results. Up a spot into 3rd is DBR Russ, manned alone by Burns. Just 3 points back of a podium is DBR 2 Stupid Dogs, rostered by Wojciech Podozek and Vincent Brim. Another DBR sibling, this time Team Talon, piloted by Mr. Excitement Liam Quinn, and Johan Vander closes out the overlay. Adam, we've talked Brussels chips, the track, driver, and team standings. Now, let's conversate a little bit about the series and race details.
Yeah, of course, the sponsor for the Absolute Beginners League Formula Eagles series, the ilovesimracing.co.uk, the home for your personal created button boxes. And of course, Euro Num taking home a beautiful button box that he'll get as a reward for winning the Season 9 championship. And of course, we are in the Season 9. We're driving the Skip Barber Formula 2000 car here today, and this is the final race of this season, round 7 of 7. We did 4 races at 45 minutes and 3 races, including today's, at 70 minutes, and there are no drop races in this league. Of course, these cars, they are running an open setup. The fuel's at 65%, so it'll be a pretty small pit window, especially on a track this size. Qualifying, which they're in the middle of now, is 3 laps lone. They are out there by themselves, so no drafting help for qualifying. The race, as I mentioned, 70 minutes long, and we're doing a standing start for today. Yellows are local only. There is a 24 incident cap here, so you got to be careful with the off tracks, which Spa, of course, is a little bit on the famous side for. There are no faster pairs, and the weather is dynamic. And that weather today, we're looking at clear skies, 69 degrees, tracks at 98 degrees, so a little bit on the slippery side, winds out of the east at 7 miles an hour.
And we have a few minutes here to fill before we get to our Peaks podium picks, but let's go ahead and follow up on Num a bit. How about this? He has wrapped up the championship, but in classic championship form, he is back again to race this final race. He wants to close out the season, like we talked about, on a high note. And maybe to make matters worse, we talked about him winning the hardware. He does win that button box. So, Adam, nothing like making a fast driver even a little more fast with that new hardware he's going to get.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and he's got nothing to lose here for today. So look for him to make a pretty big statement.
And talk about making a statement. How about a series that, after it's been around, this is season number 9. We're closing out the finale here, and it's at the end of the season when a lot of the enthusiasm drops away. How about a nice turnout? Right now, I'm looking at 35 names on the list. Congratulations to everybody at the Absolute Beginner League for sanctioning this series and keeping it interesting all the way through. And remember, even though this is the last race of the season, we're going to be back December 11th for what they're calling the Race of Champions. And boy, that is going to be exciting. You don't want to miss that. Street Stocks on Okayama Short, and it's going to be in kind of a tournament heat format. That's going to be in a couple weeks, so make sure you come back for that one. That'll be a great way to put the final chapter in the book here for the Absolute Beginner League for 2016. Take a little break, and then the plans are underway, and hopefully we'll be back to cover season number 10 of this great series. Adam, they call it the Absolute Beginner League, but they really shouldn't be confused by that name. They welcome in newcomers, but there are some top drivers here.
Yeah, there are. I mean, especially with our champion, Euro Num. He's all over the service. Tuan Tran's all over the service. Liam Quinn, you see him places as well. Piers Cockey, Scott Brazier, Bastian Huisman, Vincent Brem. You can't leave out Vincent Brem. These are guys that you see racing quite a bit in a lot of other series, and they're fun to watch, but they make their home right here in the ABL.
Okay, with qualifying just closing up, here we go. It is one last chance, perhaps the final installment ever. It's time for Peak's Podium Picks. Now, Joe Peak is not here with us today, so the pathetic display of commentating incompetence will fall on poor Adam Young as he tries in vain to predict our podium finishers. So, with that vote of confidence, Adam, you don't need to get the order right, and there is no pressure, but the future of this segment hangs in the balance of your picks. So, for whatever it's worth, what are your picks for today at Spa?
Yeah, this is gonna be about as hard as picking a Sprint Cup race at Talladega with as much drafting that's gonna go on here today. But the top podium spot, I mean, you can't discount Euro Num. I look for him to go out on a high note for the 2016 season. I like David Burns. He's been hot here as of late, as you've seen his climb in the point standings, and can't go wrong. I'm gonna go a little bit crazy, I think, on my third pick. I'm going to go with Scott Brazier and maybe a bolder pick with Tuan Tran in fourth, and maybe trying to do something with that team championship. But Euro Num's going to be pretty tough to beat right there. I think he's going to take home the top spot.
We talked about the team championship, and then Adam touched on it again. Remember, Num and Brazier are teammates. Scott really hasn't been around for all the races. Num's been having to do most of the heavy lifting for Busch Fink Pink, but it's good that Brazier is here today because, as we mentioned, Tran and Hausman for Mama Jean Racing were in striking distance. So with two drivers out there for Busch Fink Pink, they're going to have a big disaster for there to be a problem. Qualifying is done. Let's go ahead and quickly run down the starting grid. That is darn full with 36 names on it. On the pole, it is Errol Num and Johan Vander. Row 2 is David Third Degree Burns and Tuan Tran. Third row is made up by Piers Cockey and Bastian Hausman. Ashley Beard and Vincent Bren make up round 4, and the final row on the first podium, the first overlay, is Scott Brazier and Liam Quinn. Adam?
Yeah, row 6 is going to belong to the likes of Neil Bammer, running in 11th, 12th, Ryan J. Holmes, Eric Lukel. In the inside of row 7, Williams Martin de Silva in 14th. Row 8, Rodrigo Capello Ferrari and Joachim Longren running in 16th. Edward Van Velzen running in row 9 along with Andy Morgan. And David Sestillo running in row 10 right alongside Michael Parks.
Hidden Blackjack is Richard Colum. Outside of him in the double deuce spot is Guillermo Barros, Edgar Sanchinelli, and David Hoffman make up the next row. Thomas Kick and Darren Kuhn sit in 25th and 26th. Jack Turner and Adam Olenson in 27th and 28th. Hey, how about this? The namesake of the series, Dennis Neagle in the 29th position. Good to see him here in this final one. And Michael Key in 30th. Adam?
Yeah, 31st. Of course, it's been a pretty exciting qualifying set, but these guys did not put down times. Hocek Podizek running in the inside of row 16, Hao Chan Lee on the outside of row 16, and Mark Figueroa in the inside of row 17, rounding out the field.
And there you have it. And sitting out there now, quietly, engine quiet at this moment, is your pole sitter and Season 9 champion Errol Num sitting in the top position. It is good to see the fan belt back right next to him on the outside of row 2, sitting there in car number 18. Remember, the second row is David Burns. He's having a great season, and Tuan Tran for Mama Jean Racing. 4 cars up front, 4 different teams in the first 2 rows. The little MX-5s begin to harmonize and gather up the chickens, take cover behind the cows because the horses are out of the barn. And the rolling Estonian Errol Nums leads them into La Source. Look at these guys. Are all going to have to negotiate this hairpin. This is where they start here. Standing start, my goodness, 3 wide as they work through that hairpin. And how about that? Everybody gets through safely, so congratulations on that. Meanwhile, up front, it is the rolling Estonian out in front for now.
Yeah, as cars start to hit the Eau Rouge segment here, of course, in these cars, you can pretty much take this flat out, but that makes it nonetheless hairy. As we got on the move for the lead here, as that 18 car belonging to Johan Vander is going to make a move. We're going to go 3 wide for the lead down the Kemmel Straight.
The peanut butter squirts out between the bread as Tuan Tran splits between the fan belt and the rolling Estonian and takes the lead, working into La Source for the first time, but maybe not, because also taking advantage on the outside is the car of David Burns. Third degree, looks like he's going to be able to tuck back in second. Still side by side behind as Num now in that pink machine drops farther back, now being challenged by another Mama Jean car. That is Bastian Hausman as they work their way around the right-hander.
And David Sostello, going into Lacombe there, was not incident-free. He ended up making hard contact in the Armco barrier. I'm pretty sure his day is going to be done.
A little argy-bargy going back in 7th position between Vincent Braham, Scott Brazier, and Ashley Beard. They get that sorted out. In 7th place, Braham is trying to hang on to the back of the 6-car train that's pulling away, caboosed by Pierce Cockey. So far, very impressive first lap.
Yeah, all these guys now running nose to tail as things have kind of calmed down, but Tuan Tran taking a very, very, just dominating move there, especially through that first half of the racetrack, and just David Burns right on his back bumper, just pulling him along. That was a fantastic move. But surprisingly, our champion for this year, Euro Num, is now going to be sitting in 4th place and is going to have to try to make up ground, which I guess if you're going to pick a track to do that, this is a good one with all the drafting that's going to take place here today.
Top 6, again, another battle here for 7th. This time Brazier tucks around Vincent Braham. Brazier now moves up 1 spot and is trying to get onto the back of Cockey. Cockey with about a 1.2 second lead. Should be plenty of tow there. In fact, let's go back to 7th again as Braham takes a peek in there.
Yeah, Euro Num makes a thing go from 4th back to 2nd up front here. And some moves now as things have kind of started to pick back up front now. A battle going on for back in 5th and 6th with Bastian Husman and Johan Vander and along with now Pierce Cockey trying to get in the middle of that as they head into La Source.
Vander, who started on the front row, has fallen back to 4th, being challenged by Cockey. Cockey, again, we talked about it in the pre-race show, having a great season. He has always been fast. Fuel calculations has always been his Achilles heel. He seems to have that behind him now as he's able to step through the pit issues without any problems. That lead now from 6th place, we talked about it, back to Scott Brazier is about half a second as that train gets a little bit longer.
Yeah, Pierce Cockey there, by the way, had a little trouble getting through Radion and ended up getting pushed wide. That's going to be something to watch out for because it will be a concern as far as the incident limit. Remember, a 24 incident limit over the 70-minute race here for today, and things getting busy once again up front.
As they work their way down that straight, really the place to be is 3rd position. We've seen drivers make that move from 3rd because the cars in front punch a double wide hole. Right now, the Roland Estonian is back out in front. For what it's worth, David Burns and Tuan Tran won 2nd and 3rd, but that could change by the time I finish this thought. 4th, 5th, and 6th back there, Vander Cockey, and Hausman. And sure enough, The guys in 7th has gathered to back up. Vincent Brame now in the hunt, and he's brought Scott Brazier, and Ashley Beard is now the caboose of a 9-car train up front.
Yeah, some more cars having trouble in the back of the field. Michael Key fans, he got himself in a little bit of incident. He's missing some body work real quick. Michael Parks running around with damage. Neil Mamber in the pits along with Adam Olenson, just to give everybody an update on the back of the field.
Yeah, Key got into with Edward Van Velsen. There's a new name that we haven't seen before. Of course, Key is a veteran. Van Velsen currently now running in 21st position and dropping. Maybe we can go back right there, Rick. And we have a car in the wall. Let's see if it... We're going to find out. I haven't been able to find it. We're going to look at it right now. It is David Hoffman. Looks like he just lost it on his own there, Adam.
Yeah, and that's something that sometimes happens, by the way, too, with these Skip Barber cars is these Armco barriers, not just in Spa, but a lot of places that have the Armco barriers, the wheels kind of get stuck, and fortunately, sometimes the only way out of that is just to take a tow.
Oh my gosh, I think we better go up front right now because they are nose to tail would be an understatement of what I just saw. There were 6 or 7 cars that were basically parked behind each other as close as you could as they worked their way down the straight. My gosh, still out in front is the Roland Estonian. Look at how close Tran is getting in behind David Burns. That's a bit scary. In fact, he was so close behind that he didn't get a good exit out of the bus stop, and that's going to give the fan belt a chance maybe to peek around. I don't think anything's going to happen as they work down into La Source. Let's watch this train work through this hairpin, though, as we ride on board with the fan belt. Oh, my.
Yeah, I have a feeling that won't be the only time you're doing the oh my here for today. I mean, this is going to be an exciting race, and really, as long as people can take it on the back bumper of the car in front of them, they're going to be running nose to tail for a pretty decent chunk of the day.
Fortunately, they stretch out a bit as they work through Radium, but here up front again, here comes the 3 wide with the peanut butter getting squirted out between the bread again from 3rd position. It is Tran making the move.
But he did it from a little bit further back this time than what has been going on. It usually is happening in the middle of the straight. This time it happened right at the beginning, and that allows David Burns to actually get almost the preferred line as they go through Lacombe here. But David Burns slows up just a little bit, has to check up, and kind of bunches everybody up behind him, including Euro Num and Johan Vander. So that's going to be interesting here, but maybe once again, I bet by the next time they go down the Kimmel straight, I wonder if Euro Num is going to be sitting in 3rd again and is going to be able to do the peanut butter and jelly routine again.
Yeah, my goodness. That's nice if they leave you room to scoot through there, but pretty soon they're going to tighten the bread, and that's going to turn into disaster. Well, here he is. He's a former champion. He is the Season 6 champion. It's been a while since he's been on the final podium when the hardware was awarded, but he is Tran, hailing from the Netherlands. And the man that started the season, what we called racing under the radar, and it wasn't long before he was blipping really loud, and that is David 3rd Degree Burns. Right now, Burns being challenged by Num. Burns gives him just enough room, and they manage to get through. That kind of slows down Num. And now here comes the fan belt, thinking maybe I can get in here. Not going to be able to do it right now.
They need to be a little bit careful here. They need to run a little bit more nose to tail, use that draft, because Tran is trying to get out to pretty much the largest lead that we've seen all day now, up to about 7/10 of a second. They'll gain a little bit on him here as they go down toward Planchemont here in just a minute. But still, that's a pretty sized gap compared to what we have been seeing here today.
Riding on board with the other Mama Jean racing car, that's Bastian Hausman in the familiar purple and black, or is it black and purple? You never know with that team. They kind of have mirrored schemes right now, but he rides in 6th, looking ahead at the top 5 in front of him. And honestly, the pit window here is going to be kind of tight. Remember, they use the same fuel amount, no matter if it's a 45 minute sprint race or one of these 90-minute kind of short endurance races. So this window will be very tight compared to the really large window that we see in so often in those 45-minute events. Look at this shot from Dougie Beard as we look from the top here as they work down the main straight into La Source again.
Getting head up to Radion here, and the lead now only about 4/10 of a second from Tran back to David Burns, and behind him Euro Num. So as they head into Radion here in just a second, are we going to see another big move going down the Kimmel Straight?
Yeah, we'll follow these guys down into La Source, and then maybe we'll go back and look at some of the other guys. Here it comes again. The 2nd place guy goes wide. The 3rd place guy scoots through the middle. And it's a little square dance, and this time the beneficiary of the position goes to Errol Num. My goodness, we've been calling these races long enough. When we can start predicting 3 wide down the straight, I think we need to get a raise from GSRC. They go 2 wide there. There goes Tran on the inside, side by side. Ciala's bathtubs with third-degree burns. Burns finally gives it up. Remember, Burns was leading when they started the lap, and now he's in third. Watching the whole thing each time, having no fun, no intention to want to get in there at all, is Johan Vander still running in fourth.
Yeah, one thing I've been noticing is as that 3 wide starts to happen down the Kimmel Straight, by the time they get into Lacombe, it's starting to bunch up those guys behind them pretty much from about 4th on back, maybe even 3rd on back sometimes. And we got to keep our eyes there and maybe watch out for possible incident, because every lap that's getting a little bit tighter and tighter as everybody's trying to jockey for position.
Okay, we know that there are more than 9 drivers in this race, so Adam, do me a favor. Keep an eye up front. Give me a yell if something really exciting happens. I have to put the really in there as a qualifier because that 9 is exciting. We could watch it the whole time. Let's drop back and run down a few of these guys. 10th position right now. Here's a new guy, Brian Holmes, running in 10th. He's being challenged by Mr. Excitement, Liam Quinn. And then running in 11th is the veteran, Eric Lucas. So that's a nice battle for 10th there between 3 cars. We'll drop back a little bit more. It's another 3-car train. William Martins de Silva, that's a driver from Brazil. Nice to see another continent represented here in the absolute beginner lead. Rodrigo Capella Fiera, I believe that's another Brazilian driver. And then in the mix is Jochen Lundgren, obviously not from Brazil. I think he hails from one of the Netherlands there, running in 15th position. And then finally, I'll give you one more guy running all by himself. It is Michael Split and Halfland-Dawson back there in 16th position. Boy, he had an exciting race last time, the one I missed from Mid-Ohio. But, you know, we talked about it. I said he had a great race. How about running... Oh, we have a problem. Hang on.
Yeah, up that front 9, things got interesting. Johan Vanderbilt went around along with... it was Scott Brazier.
Through the bus stop. And it looked like it started with the fan belt running up there in 4th position. He just got loose on his own.
Yeah, and then Scott Brazier ended up having to check up, and then he got hit from behind. I believe it was by Pierce Cocky.
It was Cocky, yeah. So a couple drivers up there. You would think with all that we're going to ride on board with Brazier. Maybe, you know what? Maybe a little bit of tap before the left-hander that maybe got him a little bit of loose. We don't want to put the blame somewhere. Let's look from above here. We can always blame it on netcode if that's a... But let's see what got fan belt loose. We're thinking maybe... boy, he had a long time to get into that corner, though. Maybe just didn't like the angle he came in. We go back live now. Oh, Brazier's had more trouble. We're going to rewind that one and see what happened. In fact, that's enough to put him in the pits. Oh my goodness, I think he got turned. He got turned by... It was Eric Lukel.
Yeah, he got into the back of Eric Lukel going down the Kimmel Straight. I think he just kind of misjudged that a little bit, but throws both of them in the Armco and into each other, and significant damage on both of those cars. It's pretty much in both of their days as far as being competitive.
Yeah, Lukel was the front car, and I think you got it right there, Adam. I think he just misjudged the closing rate. He tried to pull to the right to get out of there, and before he could do it, his left front hit the right rear, and both those cars are gone. And we talked about Brazier needing to help out his teammate a little bit, Num, to secure that championship. Well, I don't think there's going to be any points coming from that driver. So the Roland Estonian, he's got to be happy right now. He's out in front, but he only has a 23-point lead, I believe, in the standings. If those Mama Jean cars could team up against him, in theory, they could run him down. And let's go right there right now. Here's somebody trying to pick up a few points. And this is Tuan Tran. Remember, as Tran moves to the lead, he will pick up the first place points. But not only, that's like a double switch there. Tran will pick up those points, but also losing those points are Arrow Num. So that's a 6-point switch right there. I apologize, as here comes Num back. He must be listening to the broadcast, and he wants those back as they work through the bus stop. Uh-oh, that doesn't look like the way to go. That sounds like a slow down penalty.
Yeah, Euro numb. I think he just kind of got into the corner and judged it a little hot, and that puts him down a couple of spots here. Thankfully, he doesn't lose too awful much time. He's definitely still in touch here and can make a move, but definitely probably Euro numb's first big mistake of the day.
Diving to the inside now is the Mama Jean car of Bastian Hausman as Mama Jean runs 1-2, and they have interlocked wheels. Down, they actually interlocked. They managed to get it done. My goodness, that is Mama Jean and Bushfink Pink going at it. Looks like Bushfink Pink is going to fight there. And again, coming back from the popcorn position is the 125 machine, and that is David Third Degree Burns. We hope he doesn't get burned right now as he has nowhere to go. He has the toe, but nowhere to kick, as he is back there running behind. Now here comes Hausman again with a run on the outside. He's going to have a hard time getting it done as they work down into Lacombe. Woo!
Deep breath. Deep breath. It'll be okay.
Sweet, sassy Molassie. What racing going on.
And you know who really loves seeing that behind him, though? Tuan Tran.
Our Season 6 champion yelling, "Go at it, boys. I'm out here running hot laps right now." Out in front by 1.5 seconds. Now we look at the qualifying time. Num was about almost 0.7 of a second faster in qualifying, so he should be able to run him down on his own. It'll be hard for Tran to keep that distance as these guys are now working here with 54 minutes to go. Oh, we have the fan belt in. We're going to see if we can let Adam talk to Johan Vander. Remember, he got loose in the bus stop, and we'll let Adam talk to him right now while I keep an eye on the action. Go ahead, Adam.
Yeah, Johan, a little bit of a tough break there. Tell us a little bit what happened to you there on track.
Yeah, this is a shame what happened. Was good fighting. Was fun. I just got a little tap at my rear and that broke the axle. So I spun around because of that and got a meatball. So that was the end of it.
Johan, so your spin happened? Was it a little bump? We thought maybe that you might have got a bump going into the bus stop there on the first right-hander. Is that when it happened, or was it?
Yeah, that was exactly what happened. That gave me that bended my rear axle. I just watched the replay. If I looked at my replay, you could see my rear right tire was bended inward, and that spun me around going to the left part of the chicane. So. Well,
let me talk to you. This is a great opportunity for us. You were in what we call the popcorn position. Usually the popcorn position is the third driver in line, but not today. Did you see all those passes happening down the straight there where the third position would scoot through the middle?
Yeah, and I wanted to join that fun, but I messed up. I messed up a roost twice in a row. So because of that, I couldn't catch up on the main straight. So every time, like in the infield, I tried to like find my way back, and I was really close. Like I tried to leave a gap of around 4/10 going to La Source, because then you have the best run up at the end of Eau Rouge. And every time I went to Eau Rouge, I was like a little bit too far to the left, so then I had to lift, and that allowed Piers Cocky almost twice to pass me. So yeah, it was good. I was in a good position for that. Yeah, front seat tickets. Wish I could have joined it then.
Well, Johan, thanks for coming in, and thanks for clarifying. That's why we do these interviews. We looked at it, we saw it on screen. Our director said, I think he might have got tapped before he spun, and sure enough, you confirmed it. Hey, congratulations on a good season, and we'll hope to see you back next time for season 10.
Awesome. Thanks, guys, for everything. See you soon.
The fan belt, Johan Vander, a good guy if there ever was one. Okay, Adam, how have things gone? Let's go up to the front here while we were talking to Johan. Look what has happened. That lead that we kind of thought Tran...
Oh, Tuan Tran gets loose here. The back end kind of breaks off just a little bit going through Puhan there.
We look Tran up in front now. He has his teammate behind him. Boy, I wish I had my calculator with me. I'm not sure if a first and a second from Mama Jean Racing is going to be enough. I think it probably would be, to be honest with you. I think it's 30 points and then 27. I think if the Martians were to attack right now Belgium and this race was called, I think your champions would be Mama Jean Racing up there in those purple and black mirrored cars.
Yeah, and I got to apologize. What I said was Puholm. It's actually Bruxelles right there before No Name Corner. But these guys are putting on a show right now. And Tuan Tran made just a few mistakes and allowed Bastian Huisman to catch back up. But these guys right now, these top four are putting on a heck of a show. And what I think it really is going to come down to is once we hit the pit stops, which should be coming up here, before too long. I mean, they'll be here before we know it. How much is it going to break apart these top four?
All these guys are now veterans. In the past, I would be able to say, well, this guy has an advantage when it comes to pit stops. Honestly, perhaps the best pit stopper of the bunch, I hate to say it, is the Roland Estonian. It's rough when you're fast and good in the pit lane as well. That's a tough combination to beat as they work their way through the bus stop. Look at this 4-car train now. Remember, it was 9. And then what usually happens in these absolute beginner leagues in Formula Neagle, it's a 9-car train till there's a mistake, and then it breaks up, and that's what happens. So we'll stay with this a minute. It looks like Hausman was taking a peek to the inside of his teammate, but he doesn't. They're just going to play. That's going to be hard for Num to get around if he has 2 guys up there in front. Adam, I'm going to go back and hunt back a little bit again because it's not just the front runners we need to cover. Let's go back. It's been a while. Let's go back to 7th position right now. William Martin da Silva running in 7th spot. Just ahead of Holmes, Lundgren, Liam Mr. Excitement Quinn, and Rodrigo Calapito Fiera. Back in 11th. A nice 5-car battle. We'll stay on this one for a little bit. We'll see if these guys know the rules down the straight that the leaders have done. Let's watch here as the 2nd place car now moves to the outside. That's Holmes. And sure enough, apparently...
Pierce Cocky, for some reason, has come into the pits and has parked the car.
Cocky comes in and ends it. And sure enough, well, that was what we were talking about that. Lundgren made that similar move down the middle. Apparently, we missed the dance instructions there where people were taught that dance move. We ride on board now with...
We don't need to go up front, but Huisman just took the lead from Tran. Stay where you're at.
Yeah, I think that's going to be... I think pretty much I would expect those 4 guys up front to pretty much just have some fun here until the pit stop, which is... Remember, it's going to be a tight pit stop here. 70 minutes today. Look for them to go somewhere around 36 to 34. A very tight window here with 65%. Let's see if we can pick up another driver here somewhere. Another battle back in the field. Our director looks for one as well as we look here at... We're wandering our way through. How about we go back to 15th? Guillermo Barros. We haven't seen much from him. And a little bit of battle here with Richard Colomb. Not really much. Thomas Kick is in 17th. Then we back up here. Maybe a pass here. Darren Kuhn in a battle with Edward Van Velsen. We saw Van Velsen have trouble before. Let's stay on Van Velsen here for a minute and see if he can get a run on Kuhn. Try to cover as many guys. Let's see, Van Velsen, this is your chance. Either it's a commentator's curse or you're going to show us what you can do. You are looking left, you are looking right, all around behind Kuhn. Kuhn, a veteran, just holding a straight line right now. It looks like Edward Van Velsen is going to stay right where he is. Follow that up. Remember, Van Velsen running in 19th position. If you're scoring at home or just watching alone, go ahead and mark this down. Kuhn in 18th, Van Velsen in 19th. We'll see how that plays out after the pit cycle. That should happen as we have 47 to go in the next, about 7 or 8 minutes. Hey, let's stay on this for a minute. Here comes Van Velsen. You going to make the move? Come on, Edward. Either make it now or we're leaving with you, and I don't think he's going to do it. So with that said, let's go ahead. Maybe go check back in with our leaders, Adam.
Yeah, Tuan Tran and Bastian Huisman have swapped the lead just a couple times. They're heading down Kimmel Straight now, so you can expect another swap to happen here. Tuan Tran holds the inside. Bastian Huisman goes in the outside, and not surprising, there comes the car from 3rd place up the middle. David Burns making a great move, power move, and this time probably actually has the best line he's had out of making that move pretty much all day as they go into Lacombe.
Why don't we stay on this battle here all the way around, and maybe we can get an idea of what we may see on the last lap. So let's say we have a 3 or 4 car battle. Now this isn't going to tell as much as Burns spends a little bit of time out there in the beach. He's going to lose that position, I think, Hausman's going to duck in there and get that. Yeah, he is. Now Burns is on the outside. I don't think he's going to be able to close the door.
Now that outside line there going through Buxless is a very, very tough line to maintain. A little slick out there as well, especially on these narrow tires.
Okay, we're going to look here. We had a replay. Maybe Beard running in 11th position. Is that what we think may have had an issue? Yeah, oh, you know what? He got loose. He was tracing behind Vincent Brame. I don't think he made any contact. Ashley Beard with some issues there. No relation to Dougie Beard, our camera artist, but... And I'm not sure what their attitude is on a clean-shaven face as well, but... Whatever the case, Ashley Beard running in 11th position right now.
And we mentioned him earlier, but just want to update. Piers Cockey has rejoined the race, but right now running 2 laps down in 26.
We've done enough of these. We were going to talk about what may happen on the last lap. We've done enough of these races where we know that this going into the bus stop and even coming out of the bus stop, it can be a drag race to the start-finish line. So when that last lap starts, and it could be a 3 or 4 car battle depending how efficient they are on their pit stops. Stay with us. And right now, they work through that bus stop right now. See, if you can go side by side, if you can get a little run down into that bus stop, a lot of times we see them side by side, they'll come out of that left-hander, and then it's whoever can get the foot down on the gas fast enough to get to that start-finish line. Oh, problem, it's Lundgren involved. Oh my goodness, Lundgren involved. Also got Fiera. Fiera just T-boned Lundgren. And I think it all started with the car up in front, William De Silva. The first car in the lead was... Oh, you know what happened? Lundgren got loose. That's Lundgren got loose, and then he got into De Silva, and then T-boned by Fiera. Oh my goodness. I think the rest of the guys managed to sort that. Remember, we saw that battle. That was, I think, for about 9th position when it happened. There's Lundgren up on top. You see him get loose.
It's not very often you see the car hit the roll bar like that and bounce right back up to being on 4 wheels.
Now, Fiera is out there right now running in 9th position. He just got passed by a set of cars. Beard involved in that one, Quinn and Holmes. They continue the battle, and even though Fiera basically just center punched Lundgren, I guess his car is okay. Look at this 4-car battle out there right now, running in 8th spot, 7th spot. And Beard is called it a day, we believe. Before, might be another incident. We're going to see if we can find it. Yep, Ashley Beard. Yep, sure enough. He was in, you know, it happened, he was behind the trees on my camera angle. That's why I didn't see it. It was a 4-car battle, and then, oh, what happened was, oh my goodness, Fiera got into the back of Beard and just turned him. Watch this car. Boink. So, now there are 3 in that battle. People are coming into pit, Adam, but I believe most of them are from damage. Beard, Lundgren, Key. I don't think anybody has come in that's running up front yet. I don't think the window has opened with 42 to go.
No, I think we're still a little bit short of that. I'd expect probably to see the window be a little bit closer to the halfway point here. So maybe within the next, I mean, we're running about 2-minute 47 laps, or 47-second laps. So maybe here in the next 2-3 laps, I expect to see pit stops.
Let's go to 10th position. A guy I think we need to highlight is Mikkel Splitten Haflendawson back there in 10th. Remember, I thought it was a battle for position, but it's not. He's racing with Piers Cockey. That's a good guy to run with. Cockey, several laps down. How many laps down is Cockey right now? He's showing to be 3 laps down, but he'll have pace. The reason I wanted to talk about Haflendawson, my goodness, for some reason, did he even put in a qualifying time? No, he did not. He qualified 35th, up to 11th, so apparently he was not able. Remember, you have to put in a clean lap And you only get, I think, 2 or 3 laps. I can't remember what the race details were here.
I think he mentioned that earlier on that he was running a 248, had a 248 going in qualifying. He had 248.3, and then he got a 1X in the bus stop chicane there in the last corner.
That last corner. And now we have Sancinelli coming in. I think this is probably the beginning of scheduled pit stops. Hoffland Dawson is someone you'll want to come back in 2017 when this series returns. He's a driver that has started off, he's only been here from the maybe race 3 or 4, but he has made progress, and he's somebody to keep an eye on for next season. One of the most talkative drivers on the track. He'll tell you where he's been, where he's going, and where you should go, but a good guy.
So now the question will be, with pit windows starting to come here, was I a little too early in my predictions, and will the leaders be coming in here sooner rather than later? They're heading a little bit closer to that decision time.
A couple nice battles going on, but they're not for position. Let's drop back to 5th position. This is Vincent Brim. He's in a battle with newcomer. Well, I apologize because I just gave him the commentator's curse there. Zachary Zir just missed the apex totally. He's running in 21st position, a lap down, but was really having a good little battle there. Zachary is the first car 1 lap down. Let's make sure that Zachary hasn't made a pit stop. Well, you know, actually, Zachary's made 2 stops, so he's been in a couple times, had some issues. Welcome to the Absolute Beginner Formula Neagle Series, Zachary.
I've been watching him a little bit. You know, I think he's a young driver, and I think he's just doing his best here to learn today and stay out of everybody's way. And so far, I think he's been able to do that pretty successfully.
Okay, we're back looking at the leaders now. Something to keep in mind. You have Burns, who's out in front right now for what one of my commentators, Sean Ambrose, likes to call lap de jour. Whatever lap we honor of the day, that's who your leader is right now. Right now, it's 3rd degree. Then Tuan Tran side by side with his teammate Houseman. Remember, look, Houseman does a little dipsy-do like he was actually going to come in for the pit stop. Didn't fool anybody. Arrow Numb, the Rolling Estonian, might be the sharpest guy out there right now, sitting back there. I guess he thinks there's no reason to lead. It just burns up more fuel, and I'm not going to be able to run away from anybody. I'll just sit back here in 4th position, or maybe 3rd position, as they go 2 by 2 now.
And here he goes. Looks like...
Oh, no!
Euro Numb and Bastion are going to fight for the spot here. Euro Numb goes from 4th to 1st.
God, make the commentator a liar.
I think that he was just making sure those guys know, hey, I'm still back here.
Well, that's how you do it. I guess that's a little easier to pull off when you've locked the championship and you're racing out there for fun. But remember, now
he gets loose.
Yeah, my gosh, as he works his way. Remember, they are still racing for that team championship, and he's lost his wingman, Scott Brazier, so he's out there doing it on his own. Bush Fake Pink back out in front of Tuan Tran in Mama Jean Racing and Houseman. They need to pick up 23 points. Mama Jean Racing needs to pick up 23 points on Bushfink right now. Again, let's hope Martians never attack any place on the planet, but they were come to Belgium, and the race was called. I think Bushfink right now with Numb out in front would get the championship.
Yeah, I don't think Euro Numb's thinking about that team championship at all right now. He's just going full throttle here.
I'm glad we had that one live because Adam and I both had to take our offhand that wasn't holding down the mic button and lift our jaw back up into our heads as we saw Numb make that move from 4th spot. Coming around now, let's see what we're going to have as we're working with 36 to go. The window could open any time. I think, Adam, right now it is an advantage for all the guys to be chasing Numb because now they can come in when he comes in. If they were to have him behind him, he could sneak in first and maybe run a hot lap and try to lose him. And right now, here we go. I don't advise this. Is looking to the outside. That's the 21 machine of Tran. Let's see what happens as they come in through here. Anybody coming in? Nobody coming in. I want to make sure, I'll check with my director. We're pretty confident that the pit entrance is still outside of the bus stop, right? They're doing the full. If you have never seen a race here at Spa, well, if you've ever been in California and you've gone to the In-N-Out Burger where you have to wait for 7 hours in the line, that's what the Spa pit lane is like here. My gosh, it is the longest pit lane on the iRacing service.
Especially the endurance pits where you have to go the entire length, all the way there from the bus stop all the way up to Radion. I mean, that takes forever.
A pointless trip through because your pit box is about 9 miles away around the hairpin.
Yeah, I was gonna say, not to mention a nice little 90-degree whoop here and there.
Okay, we'll stay on this now because here comes the shuffle again. Oh, Num weaving back and forth, working both sides of the road like a jaywalking mailman. Put the brakes on the third place driver of Bastian Hausman, who had places to go. Num said, nah, I don't think so. So the rolling Estonian back out in front. Tran had a little bit of the taste of the lead, now drops into second. His teammate right behind him. Tran in the black and purple, Hausman in the purple and black. They're following the pink car of Bushvink. And then running in fourth place, I get it wrong every time, it's David Burns, and of course he runs for DBR, I'm going to guess, DBR Rust? I got it right. Now there it is right on the screen if I look at the certain part of the monitor. DBR having a great season as they have 3 cars, Team Talent, Rust, and 2 Stupid Dogs, all in the top 5. Little talk going over there between Zachary Zir saying we have room for a draft here somewhere. Meanwhile, Adam, we're looking at 34 minutes to go. I think this time around, I wouldn't be surprised if everybody comes in.
Yeah, I think they're going to have to. They got to be pretty close to running on fumes here at this point. And then we'll get to see just what it does to this 4-car battle here for the lead.
I should point out that the leader of all the cars who have pitted is Liam Quinn, currently running in 10th position right now. He is ahead of Brian Holmes and Bambi, Neil Vander. Good to see Bambi back. Want to make sure that both of those guys have pitted, and I don't believe so. I think Quinn, Holmes, but Bamber has not. Holmes has.
And there they come, all 4 of them.
Now the goal for all of these drivers, oh my goodness, is as Hausman creeping in on the back. He wants to be as close as he can to Num. The goal for all these drivers is to come out together. Better to come out together. If you come out way out in front, you can get excited, but it's going to be short-lived because they're going to run you down. But if you come out way behind, you got things to worry about. So best you can really hope for is not to be left behind as the top 4 come in. We're actually going to stay on this camera shot for a little bit. They won't be here very long. There are no pit crews out there. You have to use your imagination. If you ever watched Inside Out, just imagine it to be that imaginary friend out there doing the pits. And there they come out first. I say 1 car was left behind, and that was the first car, Num. He had the best pit stop, but he's going to be last out. Oh my goodness, 1.6 seconds behind. Well, Adam, I guess if anybody could be left behind, I guess it's your pole sitter.
We'll have to see here. David Burns and Tuan Tran, the best thing they could probably do is run nose to tail here a little bit, try to pull away some. I mean, they got a good-sized gap, but I don't think that's going to happen.
Well, let's go ahead again. Get out your clipboards, boys and girls. Tuan Tran, this interval back to David Burns is meaningless. So let's give you the interval back from Burns to third place. 1.7 seconds to Hausman. Then it is another from Hausman 1.6. No, it's 1.6 seconds back to Num. Now the good news for Num is the Rolling Estonian can kind of use Hausman as a stepping stone. He's probably close enough to be in the draft, and he can get up behind him. Then once he gets there, Hausman's probably close enough in the draft that he can get up to second position.
incident in the back involving Zachary Zir and Aaron Van Helsen.
Oh, my goodness.
They ended up making a little bit of contact, but everybody's able to keep rolling straight.
A nice look at that, but maybe we can get a second look would be from Richard Colomb, who was able to get around him. That's the car in the, well, if you want to know why we call it was Colomb, but did we not, are we too far back here? Maybe we didn't see it. Oh, it was, we're looking for what turn it was. It was back in,
I believe it was Campus.
Campus, yeah. No, we're not going to get that one. A little too far back. It is a big track here at Spa. If we don't get to them quickly, sometimes our timing and scoring won't let us run them down. Why don't we take a second? You think we're going to break? Oh, no. We're going to take a second and run down the top 10 for you now that the pit stops are all done. Out in front, Tuan Tran and I apologize, it's not Tuan Tran. Your leader is, oh, it is Tran. There we go. Your winner is Tan. And there's my timing and scoring is up to date now. David Burns running in second position. Tran beginning to distance themselves a little bit from Burns. We have to worry about how much fuel they took up front. Did Tran and Burns take enough? Well, we talked about that interval of 1.6 seconds from second to third. That's gone now as Bastian Hausman has run him down. He is right behind Burns as we talk in third. And then watching the whole thing is Errol Num. Num's starting to drop back a little bit there. Maybe had a bit of an issue as they work through the bus stop. There's your top four. Then, my goodness, it is 14 seconds back and about 30 Tiger Wood tee shots back to fifth place, which is Vincent Brame, running all by himself, and he's got about a 10-second lead back to our sixth place driver, having a good run, Mr. Excitement, Liam Quinn. Seventh position is Brian Holmes. We talked about they came out close together after the pit stop. Holmes being challenged, though, now for that seventh spot, a little bit there by De Silva, and then watching the whole thing happen is Bamber, but he's a lap down, so let's go back to the next car, which would be way back to Figueras. And then rounding out your top 10 is Rodrigo Capleto Fiera. You know, I believe it's happening here at GSRC. When we've been here around long enough, I like to call it the Brazilian invasion, and I believe they're coming. Watch out for that in Season 10. De Silva, Figueras, and Fiera, I believe, are all from the below the equator.
It's one thing about the ABL series here is they really are from all over the world. I mean, you just look, we got drivers from the UK, Australia, even Zachary Zir representing Texas. You got to give a shout out to him. Michael Keefe from the Midwest. So, you know, these guys are from all over the place, and it makes it for a great, diverse league.
It is the preferred time slot of a league if you're looking for global appeal. Except for Australia that has to work hard here. In the States, it is, on the West Coast, it's like early Sunday morning, early afternoon on the East Coast. That allows the drivers in the Europe to race. It's late, it's about dinner time Sunday night in like London and the Western Europe, and then even Eastern Europe can get in here late Sunday night. So the only guys who really have to do a little bit of scheduling is the poor guys in Australia and Japan. We have that pass for the lead now. Here comes the two teammates. The 181 takes the lead over the 21. That is Hausman over Tran. Remember, Tran has a win already this season. It was earlier on. Right now, there's a 93-year-old lady watching from Lakewood, California, who's on the edge of her seat. A little early for her to break out the martinis right now. But her two drivers are running 1-2, and if my math is right, that means that the team championship would go to Mama Jean Racing right now. Errol Num running back there in third position. Let's assume that Brazier is not in the mix. That's Num's teammate, and sure enough, Brazier is nowhere to be found on the top roster spots in the points.
These top three guys between Bastian, Tuan, and Eero starting to leave David Burns behind just a little bit.
Now,
and here we go. Here comes Eero Num right up the middle. You know, that doesn't get old. I'm sorry. That just never gets old.
Adam, I could not agree more. And we've seen it not only from these guys, but like we talked about, everybody seems to have that move. I'm surprised that the guy from second, when he makes that, goes so far to the outside. You think he'd almost want to hold that middle line and make at least the guy from third go around on the top side. So, well, Mama G now sitting a little farther up on her seat, as now she is no longer in the championship lead right now. I believe the points, for you scoring at home, I believe the points are 30 for a win, 27 for second, and I think it's 25 for third. The interval between those two teams was 23 points coming in. So right now, this 30 points with the win would be enough, I believe, to hold on. Math, I'm probably not. It's hard to say. I think I'm correct on that. Zachary Zir coming over with some news going on. I'm not sure what's going on from him. Things are quieting down now. We're looking here at 25 minutes to go. Let's go ahead. Here it is again. Oh, I'm sorry. I was on a replay. I apologize. I was watching as they went 3 wide.
Really, so far, the only other battle on track right now is 7th spot Brian Holmes with Williams Martins de Silva running in 8th position, so 7th and 8th right now. The only other spots being contested on the track. Everybody else is pretty well spread out here after the round of pit stops, and battle for the action pretty much going on between Brian and William and the guys up front.
Well, let's stay on this one a little bit, and friends and family, if you can get tell the leaders, if you're able to get a touch of them, tell them to behave, because we're not going to have them on screen for a little bit. We're going to watch a new guy here, Brian Holmes, running in 7th position. And then Martin de Silva, the Brazilian driver, running in 8th. We'll stay on this a little bit. If William decides to do a little bit of fighting here. Right now, I think William, this might be back there, happy where he is in 8th position. So I don't see any pressure being done here. Let's leave this. Why don't we run down? We'll take a second before this is over. Let's run down some of the spots from 11th back. We've talked about the top 10. Let's go back to Guillermo Barros, running in 11th. He's all by himself, about 3.5 seconds back to Thomas Kick. Kick right now, having a little fun going on. This is interesting. Yeah, this is Kick in here with Sanchinelli. They are Cialis bathtubs working side by side as they come into the bus stop. Let's see if they decide to get this. This is what you could see on the last lap from the leaders. This will tell us a lot. And look there how the preferred position was Kick. Now remember, Kick was on the outside. You would think that wouldn't be good, but he was able to hang in there, and then he gets the preferred spot through the left hand of that and able to beat Sanchinelli to the start-finish line. So keep that in mind if we're looking at Tran, Noom, and Hausman in that battle. This battle continues. And now Sanchinelli lifts a little bit, Adam.
Yeah, those guys getting ready to head down into Radion here. And that's they've been going back and forth here for just a little bit, and that battle developed actually relatively quickly. And so I guess 3 battles on track between the leaders and also 7th and 8th, and that's pretty much it. These guys have really kind of settled down for the most part.
Sanchinelli makes a rather humdrum pass down the straight. Now there's a simple 2-car pass. That's not what we've come accustomed to looking at here. What needs to happen is for Ricard Colomb back there in 14th to get in there so we can see that the peanut butter squeeze one more time. That it seems to be the move that these guys have perfected. Colomb running in 14th, about 1.5 seconds behind these guys, battling for 12th. Sanchinelli from the Northwest Club. And Kick, surprisingly, you would think he'd be a U.S. driver, but he's from the Germany, Australia, and I guess that's Germany, Austria, and yeah, Australia. Parliament for that. Australia would not be teamed up with Germany in on any globe. I can think, oh, and there's Kick having some fun. The European driver doing a little bit of drifting. That's going to bring in the Canadian driver, Ricard Colomb, back into the mix. And now let's go back up to 6th spot as our director has found. Oh my goodness, Quinn is in the pits. We saw Quinn get run down, but he's in the pits. I'm going to double check and make sure everything's okay. And I'm seeing a spin from Hoffland Dawson. I'm not sure how recent that was. Remember, Hoffland Dawson was having a great run. He is now in 23rd position. Sometimes our timing and scoring doesn't tell us how far back it was, so we might have missed that one. He had a long pit stop, so something happened. Remember, we were watching him. He started from the back and had made that great run all the way through the field. Well, we've been away from a while. Maybe we should go up front again and see what's going on with our leaders.
Yep, and these guys have been fighting side by side here for the last couple of corners. Once again with that 3-wide maneuver down the Kemmel Straight, and now Euro Num comes out on top this time around.
We'll stay with these guys for a while because our contract with the Absolute Beginner Series means we have to cover the leaders ever so often. Try to go through the field as much as we can, cover everybody, but it's now become a 3-car battle up front. We talked about it was a 4-car battle, but Third Degree Burns has not been able to keep up with these guys, now 2.4 seconds behind. He had a fast pit stop. Adam, what did we have to worry a little bit about was the stop that Tran had. He may need to save a little bit. Maybe running in second is where he wants to be. Remember, he was the first out along with Burns. As I say that, Tran says, I don't need to save any fuel, commentator. I'm going to take this lead back.
I was going to say, I don't think Twan's going to want to sit back there for any length of time if he can.
What they want to do, if possible, I'm sure they'd like to keep this, especially the Mama Jean guys would like to keep this a 3-car battle. A little easier to calculate where they are in the points right now. Oh my goodness, there's a little tap from Bastian on the back of the Roland Estonian. Bastian saying, I'm here. Now as Hausman takes a little like a peek like he was going to do something through the source, but they're not.
You know, and as these top 3 guys have started battling again, David Burns has been able to gain back about a second here the last couple of laps. So David Burns is really wanting these guys to keep going at it. You know, let me catch back up. I want it back in on this.
Let's stay on this one right now and see if Bastian Hausman has on his dancing shoes from the 3rd position. There we go. Num moves to the outside. Now look at this. He kind of holds the middle line this time. He's going to make it a little harder for Bastian to get there. Bastian gets a late move. Tran kind of eases up. Now Bastian comes over. So this is a little variation on the dance. And now here they go. My goodness. They're working out the choreography as we speak. That is Num out in front. Is he able to negotiate it? So I guess he came from second that time. Hausman running in second now, and Tran in third. That one almost had a 3-wide late into the straight. And that interval, Adam, 2.4 seconds from Tran back to Burns.
Yeah, slowly getting back up there. You know, you'll be back onto the draft here before too long. Hey, and real quick, while that's, of course, as soon as I say it, it'll probably try to pick back up. But while we got a quiet second, I want to give a shout out to the car running in 16th right now, Jack Turner. In this race, we haven't talked about him one bit, and he's been able to move up 11 spots with some of the attrition there. So very, very quiet race for Jack Turner, but it's working out for him pretty well. I guess in this race, if we haven't talked about him at all, you know, that's a good thing.
Look looking there, we had a little spin from Van Helsen, but I don't think that was a problem. He was running back there in 18th spot. Yeah, great run from Turner. That's a new name we're not familiar with. He's from the Mid-South, don't know much about him. Turner, a privateer, so that's somebody that could get a little bit of love going into season 10 for some teams trying to fill out their two-man squad. "16 minutes to go." A lot of conversation going over the... Let's go to the lead right now, because I think we're going to have a pass for the first time going into La Source. This is the first time we've seen this move. And
Num almost lost two spots there.
That was done by Houseman, but now I think Num might get his little Skippy revved up faster because he had a little bit of a longer line around. A little bit of momentum. They got to get this sorted out. They don't want to go 2x2 through here. They get that worked. All right, boys. Swing your partner, do-si-do. Let's see how this plays out this time. Num holds the inside line. The car in second gets the run, and this time he's going to try a tighter inside line. That's going to force, this time, the peanut butter's on the top of the sandwich. And no matter how they make
Euro
it,
gets into him here a little bit.
The two teammates out in front. And Tran says, I got it. Tran says,
Twan Tran's around.
I thought Tran was just saying, I got to get out of this. I don't have an angle in.
And Euro's loose, and he gets into Houseman.
Okay. We're looking at the Tran spin now. And now we're going to stay on this, and now we're going to go up. Let's watch what happened on the leader. This is still under replay. There goes Gnome on the inside. They touch, they gather. Oh, my goodness. And both drivers are loose, and they save it. Oh. Okay, Bastian, and they're saying Bastian coming over says focus. I'm not sure if he was talking to himself or to his teammate or to the leader. So after all of that nonsense, we talked about it. Third Degree Burns now running in third. And Adam, we were doing the math. That could have been the team championship right there. You had the two Mama Jean cars running in second and third. Actually, first and second. Oh, well, they were in the mix. But not anymore. Tran's got his work cut out for him with 13 minutes to go. He's now 5.5 seconds behind.
Yeah, that was pretty much disaster back there for him, and all that contact there was just cars getting loose. I mean, there was nothing intentional or anything like that about it, or even avoidable contact. I mean, it was just all of a sudden back tires breaking loose.
And just to show you what great drivers they are. For normal drivers, that would have been two cars in the wall, and they would have been calling it their day. Right now, they continue, and my goodness, now I'm looking at Houseman has come in. Did Bastian short feel, or did he get damage? Oh, he has the black flag with the red dot. They call it the meatball flag. He's got to come in for repairs.
As fun as these Skip Barber cars are to drive, they're not built like tanks. It doesn't take a lot of damage sometimes to get that meatball flag with these cars.
So the 181 comes in. Let's go ahead and talk to one of our newcomers here real quick. Hey, Zachary, we're going to bring you in real quick here. We have about 12 minutes, so we can't talk too long before the checker flag falls, but welcome to the series. You had an eventful race.
Yeah, I sure did. I love the Avenged Sevenfold car, Skip Barber Formula 2000. It didn't turn out that well. The setup wasn't that good, but I did my best. And I ended up getting DQ'd and hit the limit.
Where are you from? It sounds like you're from the States. What part?
Texas.
Welcome. This is the final one. How's your schedule in 2007? If they come back, you think you might want to run full-time with us?
Oh, sure. But I also have another series called the Classic IndyCar Series, which is actually being broadcasted by RaceSpot TV, so I'm going to have to do both.
Actually, we can give you a little update on that, because the Classic IndyCar Series might be moving over under the Lionheart under the Lionheart name, and we'll see if GSRC can get. Oh, that's the wrong one. Sorry about that one. Well, congratulations on that, and RaceBot certainly does a good job of broadcasting it well. Hey, Zachary, congratulations, buddy. We'll hope to see you next year.
Yeah, I hope to see you guys too.
Got my classic IndyCar series confused there. You can never have enough classic IndyCar series here on the iRacing service. 11 minutes to go. Right now, the company you're watching is the Global Sim Racing channel. And we are doing the Absolute Beginners Sanction Series. This is the Formula Neagle. And how about we take a peek at the namesake? Where the heck is Dennis running right now? Dennis Neagle? How about 18th position? The series is named after him. He's one of the series organizers. Running in 18th. Dennis doesn't run this one very much. Running in the car number 888. That's a very great numbered car because if you flip it over, everyone can still read your number.
That's almost a pessimistic view of looking at that.
Poker players call that triple snowman. I lost a lot of money to trip eights in one-handed poker, but that's a story for another day. Right now we're going to look at P12. Battle for P11. Sancinelli running in 12th. You know, we saw this before. Thomas Kick back in there. And actually, now coming up behind these guys, we talked about it before. Here it is, Colomb. Remember we said if Richard could get up there? Well, he's managed to do it. But right now, this is a three-car battle. And maybe the best battle, Adam, that's out there right now since our leader battle has kind of quieted down a little bit.
Yeah, Eurodum is running away from David Burns right now, so this is the battle on the racetrack.
So let's stay on this because we put in the foundation. We looked at it earlier, and there, Kick and Sancinelli were out in front. And now Colomb. They work with 9 minutes to go. You can see the lap times that these guys are running. 2:53 was the best one from Sancinelli. Look at what Colomb had done, 2:51. So that's why he is there. Now they're working their way into the final part of the race as they work their way down into the bus stop. Traditionalists will probably yell at me, and getting a little bit of loose there is Kick as for me calling it the bus stop. It's not really not the official name of it, but it feels like that to me. It is, I'm hearing now that it is the official name. It's because it used to be the bus stop straight. So there we have it. Boy, look at the loose that is going on from the guy up in front. You can only do that. You can get away with it once. You're not going to be able to get away with it twice. As Sancinelli says, I've had enough following you. Sancinelli moves out in front. The 22 car drops into the third in line now. And the 56, again, Richard Colomb still looking at it. Now let's see if Richard's been clued in on the dance steps. Let's see if he made it to the rehearsal dinner and knows the moves. Sancinelli holds the inside. Moving to the outside is Kick. Coming through the middle, he's a little late getting there, is Colomb. Colomb's not going to squeeze through. He's going to stay on the outside. I don't think... There we go. Well, he gets one spot. And he's going to give it back as he couldn't quite... They were continuing. I think he's going to be able to close the door here again as they continue the battle. Boy, Colomb is really squeezing Sancinelli into the Belgian fescue. He's able to make it work. Sancinelli had the left sides of the tires on the grass, but he was able to get it. Boy, he is there right back at it. Colomb trying to race smoothly as he can. Sancinelli racing like a ferret thrown in a half-full bathtub, scratching and clawing, looking for any way out. Meanwhile, Kick pulling away now with a 1.5 second lead over the nonsense going on behind him.
Yeah, but as that's going on, Darren Kuhn here is doing his best to catch back up and make this a three-car battle once again.
All right. Kuhn says you need a dance partner? May I cut in as here he comes. Kuhn racing in that car, number 32.
Old Canadian there.
It is Kuhn running in 14th from Canada. Actually, we have a lot of Northwest, for those not familiar with the globe. That's real close to Canada here in the U.S. That's the upper part. And then we have another Canadian driver in there as well, Cologne. So 2 Canadians and a Northwest driver. We're going to look at P5. Adam, why don't you go up there? What do you see?
Well, right now, Brian Holmes getting passed by Williams Martin de Silva for that 5th spot as he takes control over it as they went down the Kemmel Straight now into Lacombe. And as they do it, as we're kind of starting to see a little bit of a trend, grip becoming an issue all the way from Lacombe going into Bruxelles. So we saw that with the leaders a few minutes ago, kind of seeing it here with William and Brian as well. But these guys definitely racing hard.
And just so you understand, they don't take tires here. It's just not, even though this is a 70-minute race, they really don't do the tires in the Skippy. It just doesn't pay off. Just to put a closing chapter in the book here on Bastian Hausmann, no need to go there. He's running 19th. Well, running is probably the wrong term. He is sitting 19th right now, still in the pits. 1 lap down. So that celebration martini for Mama Jenny Racing may turn into something to ease the pain. As I don't think that's going to work out for her today. It looks like if things go according to plan, Errol Numm not only going to take the championship, but also give Bush Pink the team championship as well. With about 4 minutes to go, remember, we're going to be back here covering the Absolute Beginners Race of Champions. There's also another similar event coming up in December, I think a day earlier actually, or I think it's around the middle of December, 10th or 11th, and that's going to be GSRC's All-Star Race. Yeah, where we're going to invite all the best drivers from all the series that we cover to get together. You don't want to miss that. There'll be more information. Remember, go to globalsimracingchannel.com to find out about all that stuff. We're also on Twitter at GSR Channel. And Facebook at Global Sim Racing Channel. Always an exciting time of the year, not only for the kids.
Brian Holmes gives up the battle from 5th positions coming into the pits.
Holmes comes in. This will be his 2nd pit stop. Maybe if I could take a quick second to see what his pit stop time was. Did he have a short one? Oh, it already kicked over, so I can't tell you that one. All right, we got a little bit of a look here at P2. Look who it is. Tran has worked his way back up and has gone around David Burns. Remember, Tran was running up in that 3-car battle for the lead with his teammate Bastian Hausmann and Errol Numm. Got loose, fell way back, was able to make up. It was about a 5-second gap that Tran really had run. Maybe we can look at his last lap times and see what happened there. Let's see, look here, and Tran run a 2:47.8 last time, and Burns ran a 2:49.3. Well, that'll do it. That's 1.5 second difference. Is there any hope of Numm and Tran getting back together? Well, I don't think so, unless fuel runs out. The interval from Numm back to Tran, a pretty comfortable 8.3 seconds. Arrow's going to go 6 for 7 this season. The only loss he had came to Juan Tran at his hands. With about 2 minutes to go, we'll see if there's any other battles on the track that we may want to cover on the long white flag lap. Our director has found P8 again. Here we are. This is the one we've been watching. This is a pair of Brazilian drivers here. This is Vieira and Figueras. The battle of the Fs. Rodrigo against Mark. And I got to apologize. You know, sometimes my parents taught me not to assume stuff. Well, you might think Figueras was a Spanish name. Apparently not, as he is in the Benelux class. So that's in that Belgium, Netherlands, Luxembourg. Sorry, Mom and Dad, for making that assumption. They taught me better than that.
Well, to be fair, he could have some Italian heritage or something like that.
I can say that running in 10th place, though, Guillermo Barros is from Brazil. We talked about that before. Watch out for Season 10. You want to come back because not only are the races interesting...
Sancinelli apparently had a problem. His car's sitting in the pits all banged up. Let's see if I can figure out what happened. Oh, he put it on its roof, and it slid a long way on the roll bar.
And our director has it. This will be fun. Maybe if we have time, one more time, director, can we go on board and see what that's like on the... We're going to see what this is like. We're not sure what we're going to actually see here. Sometimes these on boards when you're upside down. If you get confused, just turn your monitor over if you're watching on the computer. Here we go. And now the blue side is down and the gray side is up.
Fantastic job on the asphalt texturing.
That was fun.
Tough break for Edgar Sancinelli, though. He had a good run going up until that happened.
14 seconds to go right now. Our leaders working their way through the back half of the track. We never really know. I've got to assume maybe that the white flag, I guess, will be coming out this time around, I think, if I figure that out right. We're thinking maybe he might be on the white flag wrap right now. We'll see that flag come up probably right about when they get to the bus stop. It's up. Okay. It is up. So there you have it. Working his way down. He's only got just a little bit these real fast corners.
You have to give an update real quick. Darren Kuhn, we were talking about a few minutes ago. He ended up having an incident, but it is way too far back to go to. He didn't look home. Euronome is going to take the final checkered flag of the season for the Formula Neagle Absolute Beginners League Series. And coming in behind him, second place, David Burns. And have to see where Tuan Tran ended up. Tuan Tran might have incidented out, which would be unfortunate there in the last couple of laps. Okay, take a look at the replay here as they head down the back stretch going toward the bus stop. Smokes the tires. Oh, him and David Burns get into each other a little bit, and that ended up being Tuan Tran hitting the incident limit. So Vincent Brem is actually going to be the one to bring it home in third position to bring out your podium. Take one look riding on board David Burns here. You'll see Tuan Tran lock up the brakes going into the bus stop, and David Burns just really has nowhere to go. So your podium here for today is going to be Euronome, David Burns, and Vincent Brem bringing her home in 1, 2, 3. In fourth position, making a big move up with some of those late incidents there is going to be Williams Martins de Silva is bringing it home in fourth position. Liam Quinn coming home in fifth to round out your top five. Tuan Tran continues to fall down. Brian Holmes recovering from that late pit stop to bring it home in sixth position. Here comes Guillermo Barros, the Brazilian. He's going to be coming home in seventh position. An exciting race here at the end. Of course, as these cars continue to round around, we'll end up with everybody with about 12 cars, I believe, on the lead lap when everything is said and done. We're going to go ahead and take a break here, and we'll be coming back in just a minute to give you your final results and talk to the podium. Well, it ended up being a very exciting conclusion to the Absolute Beginners League Formula Neagle season here on GSRC, coming to you from Spa. Yeah, that's right. A drafting track with these Skip Barber cars definitely proved to be that here today, with lots of exciting moves and definitely a lot of action right at the end of the race. Let's go ahead and run down your finishing order here. In first place, bringing home the trophy, putting a capital mark on the end of his championship season, Euro Numb, the 78 car, bringing it home in first position. Second position, David Burns. And in third, rounding out the podium after Tuan Tran incident in the bus stop, Vincent Brem. Williams Martins de Silva taking advantage of a lot of action in the last two laps to bring it home in fourth. Liam Quinn in fifth. Brian Holmes in sixth position. Guillermo Barros running in seventh. Rodrigo Capitel Ferrari running in eighth position. Ninth belonging to Thomas Kick, and 10th belonging to Richard Colomb. Now, 11th position is the last car to finish on the lead lap. We talked about him earlier. Very much almost an incident-free race with Jack Turner. Tuan Tran, the first car, one lap down after hitting the incident limit in the bus stop chicane coming to the checkered flag. 13th position, Mark Figueroa. 14th position, the namesake for the series, Dennis Neagle. Edward Van Velzen, I keep on wanting to say Van Halen. 15th position. 16th position, Michael Key. 17th position, Darren Kuhn. Edgar Sancinelli with his problems in the last few laps, coming home in 18th. Bastian Huisman, who is running up front all day long, in 19th. 20th position belongs to Piers Cocky. We go back to 21st position. We're going to bring in Michael Hafizhausen. Zachary Zir bringing it home in 22nd. You heard him earlier, newcomer to the league. Neil Bammer bringing it home in 23rd. Adam Olison 24th. Michael Parks 25th. And 26th position is Ashley Beard. Joachim Lungarn bringing it home in 27th. Scott Bergier in 28th. Eric Lukel 29th. And 30th, Andy Morgan. And to conclude the field with 35 cars, Johan Vander bringing it home 31st, 32nd, David Hoffman, 33rd, David Sestelo, 34th, Hoi Chan Lee. I don't know if he actually went a lap. I know Hocek Podajek did not go a lap today with the DNS in 35th position. So an exciting conclusion to the series. We're going to go ahead and talk to our podium drivers. Let's first bring in your third place finisher for today, Vincent Brem. Almost a surprise addition to the podium with the incident there at the last lap, last corner. Vincent Brem with a very good day out there. Vincent, how are you feeling climbing out of that Skip Barber car?
At the moment, I'm still laughing, to be honest. It was such a good race for me. Spa is always a track I do well at, but yeah, I didn't expect to get a podium after, I think a season without a podium finish. So yeah, pretty chuffed with that.
Well, Vincent, of course, a lot of action happened out there for today. What was your take on some of the things that was happening in front of you?
Well, I just was very lucky. I could avoid it all. I think it was around lap 10 that Ashley Beard and Piers Cocky, I think, collected each other. And yeah, after that, I just drove away from the rest of the guys. So yeah, really, really good race for me.
And of course, we've seen you on here in GSRC quite a bit with the Formula Neagle series. Are we going to see you back for season 10?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'll keep driving the Skippy in the ABL for sure.
All right. Well, in that case, we look forward to seeing you here. I guess pretty soon, 2017, right around the corner. Vincent Brem, your third place finisher for today. And as we say goodbye to Vincent, we're going to go ahead and welcome David Burns into the booth. David ended up bringing it home in second position for this afternoon's race at Spa. David, a little bit of a last lap incident there with Tuan Tran. And David is going to try to get him here into the booth. David, as far as today went, it was just a very, very active race, and you were up there almost the entire time.
I know, it made a nice pleasant change, actually. I don't know, has Hero got long hair? Because it felt like he let his hair down today. He was really mixing it up.
Yeah, I don't think Hero had anything to lose today, and it kind of showed it, huh? Of course, David, you had a little bit of an incident there on the last lap with Tuan Tran. Tuan Tran ended up hitting the incident limit, I believe. What was your take on that? What happened from your point of view?
Well, I mean, to be honest, the reason why I fell back was I was just on the line of fuel. I actually spluttered as I came around the bus stop there. But I thought, well, it's the last race of the season. I'm going to. I don't normally battle as hard as that, but I thought I'm going to battle. And when I saw him go to the inside, I thought, well, I'm going to try and go around the outside of you. But I just didn't expect him to come in front of me at that point. And I was just a bit shocked when he disappeared. I was like, oh no, tell me he's not been DQ'd. I was like, I actually felt really bad at that point.
Yeah, and of course, I mean, it was a fantastic battle between not only you, but Eero. I think just about, there were 7 or 8 guys up there right at the start of the race. What was the first half of this race like for you?
A bit more dramatic than normal, but then I'm not used to being that far front on Spa. Normally I'm a lot further back, or I screw up and hit a wall. But it was really interesting. And when I lost the draft early on, I actually thought, no, there's no way. But then when I saw them squabbling a bit, I thought, oh well, best keep within range. So that's probably why I was a bit short on fuel, and thankfully I got it back from getting Tuan's draft a little bit.
And David, you've had a pretty good, especially the second half of the season. You've really made a decent charge. Are we going to see you back for season 10 of the series?
Oh, for sure. You're not going to get rid of me that easily. I actually said something to Vincent before we started the race. It's depressing, though, when you think about it. If Eero hadn't have finished, I would have won. If Eero just wasn't there, I wouldn't have won, but never mind.
Well, David, hey, congratulations on the second place finish here for today, and look forward to seeing you next year as 2017, once again, right around the corner. David Burns, everybody, your second place finisher here today in the Absolute Beginners League race at Spa. And of course, now we're going to go ahead and bring in the Rolling Estonian, Eero Num. Eero had a fantastic day. He was mixing it up in the top 4 or 5 all day long. Eero, what a crazy first half of that race with all the moves that were going on, especially down the Kimmel Straight. I'm very interested to know what your take is on it.
Yeah. At first, I didn't have anything to lose, so I was driving very hard in the first part of the race. But when Scott, my teammate, crashed, then I kind of lost interest, so I stayed back and saved fuel.
And of course, that ended up putting you in a good position to be able to have a good pit stop, still remain up front when that pit stop happened. As far as the second half of the race, the car seemed like, especially your car and also Tuan's car, seemed to be getting pretty loose, especially through Bruxelles. Were you starting to lose a little bit of rear grip?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, it was not easy because it's just too warm.
Well, of course, you put the capital C into championship here with your win in the final race of the season. I want to say congratulations on the championship here for the season. What's your plans for that button box that you're going to be getting from the league sponsor?
Yeah, it's already in the works. It will be attached to my club short wheel, so that's what I'm getting.
Well, once again, congratulations, Eero, and look forward to, we're going to be seeing you here for season 10. Are you going to come back and defend your championship?
Yeah, definitely.
All right. Well, we look forward to definitely having you call a few more of your races here through season 10 of the championship. And once again, congratulations. With that, we're going to go ahead and bring in Bastian Huisman just real quick. I want to talk to Bastian. Bastian, you were up front pretty much all day long and had a little bit of trouble there in the back half of the race. Well, what was your view of what happened?
Hey, good evening. Yeah, it was a nice race. Everybody was fighting hard and clean, but everything was going good. But then at, I believe, turn of lap 18 or 19, then Eero lost his cool a little bit, and he went way too hard into the corner. He would have never made it. And yeah, he collected me, and he could drive home. So that's kind of shame for the end race. But I had fun while it lasted.
I understand that. Of course, Spa sometimes lends itself to that, especially with the close quarters and the drafting. And you're right up there in the mix, especially during the first half of the race. As far as Spa races go, how crazy was that for you sitting in the driver's seat with all that moving around going on?
Well, in the first half of the race, it was pretty easy. I didn't did too many crazy things because I wanted to save a little bit of fuel. And then during the end, we just started fighting more, and it was actually pretty nice.
Well, Bastian, are we gonna see you back for season 10? Or are you gonna come back with the Fury and maybe try to make a run at the championship?
For sure, I'll be back. I'll be representing Mama Jean, and trying to get the championship and the team championship, of course, next season.
All right. Well, hey, Bastian, I know it didn't end up with the result that you wanted here for today, but still good race nonetheless while you were out there, and congratulations on a great season 9. And with that, here for today, I want to say thank you, of course, to the Absolute Beginners League for organizing and contracting with GSRC to broadcast the series. It's been fun trying to call these races and an awesome set of drivers that they have here. Also, thanks to ilovesimracing.co.uk. Of course, you heard about the button box that Uranum is going to get. He already has plans on it for his season championship reward. I Love Sim Racing is a website where you will find quality-made sim racing button boxes custom-made to your personal design, making your sim racing experience more realistic and more fun. It helps you execute all those important in-race vehicle settings and pit stop changes, giving you that little extra edge on track, all at a very affordable and competitive price. Working closely with you, it's their goal to create the exact button box layout you've been looking for. Figuring out what is you want and what you don't want, resulting in a box just for you that nobody else has. Your button box will not only work on your PC, but on your PlayStation 4 platform as well. I love simracing.co.uk, the home for your personal created button boxes. Thanks to the company's equipment and software that you see on the screen now that we use on our broadcast. The original music you've heard today on today's broadcast is thanks to Eric Elcom and Casey Lalonde. See the screen for how to contact each of them. Formula Legal Season 9 may be over, but the Absolute Beginners League returns December 11th for the Race of Championship. Street Stocks, that's right, Street Stocks at Okayama Short with a unique heat race format that's going to be something special. And GSRC will be there to bring you all the action. If you'd like to find out more about GSRC, including dates and times for upcoming and archived broadcasts, your best bet is www.globalsimracingchannel.com. We're also on Twitter at GSR Channel and Facebook at /Global Sim Racing Channel. Finally, on behalf of my mic mate Bill Soupson, our director Amjad Yaman, and our camera artist, as Soup likes to call him, the Ansel Adams of iRacing, Doogie Beard, I'd like to thank you all for watching. With that said, we're off to have fun storming the castle, so next time, race clean, race hard, and I'll see you on the track.